Hello, my friends. AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. Welcome back to my face and my card making space and another Halloween video for my Halloween 2025 card series. I will have a link at the very end of the video in the end screen to my Halloween series playlist that I'll just keep adding to as I get videos up. I'm using Pretty Pink Posh products again. Such a good release. I'll have a link to the release in the description box below the video. Today, I'm actually part of an Instagram hop to share inspiration. That will be, my Instagram will be linked, like always, in the description box below as well. And yeah, multiple days of Instagram hops. She's got just a lineup of designers sharing inspiration. It is worth checking out. So many ideas, even if you're not into Halloween. Even though I'm saying that, they probably wouldn't click on this video. But even if you're not majorly, into Halloween, worth checking out just for the inspiration and the ideas. And that's got me thinking. I'm dropping my skeleton hands. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you make Halloween cards? Have you ever made a Halloween card? Do you never want to make a Halloween card? So, everything I used will be listed and linked in the description box below the video. My links are affiliate links. That just means that if you click on one of my links and end up placing an order, I do get a little kickback from that at no extra cost to you. That is what helps pay the bills, keeps the channel running, all the things. And this is also part of my black, white, and gold, white, black, and gold, same thing, playlist. I'll link that in the end screen as well. We were talking about that recently in a video, and I was like, I haven't done a white, black, and gold card in a while. Decided to do one today. Why not? Something fun. So, without further ado, let's get into making the cards. So this is the Fringe Pumpkin die set. And if you're at all familiar, Pretty Pink Posh has done several die sets now of different shapes in this sort of fringe theme. And it's really fun. You could also make, this could just be a shaped card, because that largest piece along the bottom there could also be just the back of your card, because the fringe is only at the very bottom. I thought about that after I was done, but I had fun making these. So anyway, I die cut the pieces from white cardstock. And then to emphasize the fringe or give it a little bit more texture, I pulled out my little shaping kit. It's a firm foam pad, and then the stylus with the very large ball ends on it. And I'll link to a similar kit. Tim Holtz has one that does the exact same thing. And it's meant more for like floral shaping, like when you have floral cardstock die cuts, and then you use the stylus to curl up petals and leaves and all the things. It's a handy little thing to have. And I show this foam pad in other videos too, because I use it when I have to like poke holes through things. So you just apply pressure. And I found what worked best was holding it and like kind of dragging, like pressing and dragging the stylus towards me, like along this like fringe, and vice versa, like pressing it again away from me. And yeah, it just curls up the edges of the cardstock. Can you do this with your fingers? Totally. This creates a little more of a smoother finish, especially if you're dealing with heavyweight cardstock. If you've ever tried, trying to curl up or just, shape heavyweight cardstock, it doesn't really want to play nice. More often than not, it'll like crack and just like fold. But if you use something like this and the stylus and the foam, it just helps gently smooth it, and curl it up. So I did the one set, and then just the difference between not doing it, it's neither way is wrong. It just depends on the look you're going for. But it's just fun how much of a difference it makes taking an extra couple minutes to curl up the fringe. So I did that with both pieces because I was like, if I'm doing all this die cutting, let's make 2 cards. And I'm going to adhere them all together. And then the other thing I thought of, these would look so good as like a garland. Do a bunch of these, and especially in the white and gold. It gave me like Pottery Barn, vibes, West Elm vibes. Can you imagine how much they would charge for a garland like this? Like, it'd be like a fortune. I love Pottery Barn. I can't afford Pottery Barn or West Elm. But I can I don't know, in my head, I was like, they would 100% have like pumpkins like this in white and gold. totes, you know? How cute. String it with some black and white baker's twine. You guys, I need more hours in the day. I need a bigger house. So anyway, it would look cute. So for the stems of the pumpkins, I used some gold glitter cardstock, which I kind of showed there on screen. I'll have a link to it. And then I set those aside. And I used, again, the spiderweb cover plate. I used that in a live stream just the other day. And this time I die cut it from black cardstock. And I'm adhering it to my black cardstock bases. So it's black on black, which is subtle, which is what I was going for because the pumpkin is like the star of the show. But I love cover plate wafer dies and to do like tone on tone, regardless of the color, just the same color of the die cut as whatever my card base is going to be. It just adds like the best texture. So I adhered them together. I put them in my splat box and I added some white splatter with my Pawsitively Perfect White Splatter Medium from Simon Says Stamp. So shook that up really well, used my fan brush, splattered those, set those aside. The sentiments are the Happy Halloween Shadow die set and Trick or Treat Shadow die set, except for both of these I didn't use the shadows, like the outlines. I used just the words. And when I was doing all the other die cutting, I was die cutting scraps of the black cardstock, so I had multiple layers to stack together because that's just what we do. If you want to skip this much, fiddling, one die cut layer of the sentiment and then use the shadow. That looks fabulous as well. So the other thing, you can't really see it on camera, but when I was doing all this die cutting, and I've talked about this many times, I use my die cut plates until there's nothing left of them. Like, I use them past the point of like expiration date. How can you tell? When you start to notice that your die cut pieces have little threads, basically, like little cardstock threads, little slivers of cardstock all over your die cut. It's like you pop it out of the die and there's all those little pieces sticking out and it's like annoying. It's really annoying. That's a sign that it's time to use a new die cut plate because once it starts getting really worn out, this just starts happening. So this is an easy way around it though, within reason, is with something like this when it's sentiments or like something finicky, I stack them together first with the glue, like I showed, let that glue dry. And that way, especially like sentiments like this, they have a little bit more weight to them, a little bit more strength. And I hold them down and I use a little toothbrush. I keep this little dedicated toothbrush and I just give them a good scrub. And that helps remove all those little cardstock splinters. And then we're good to go. And I'll just keep doing that until I'm beyond annoyed with, having to do that quite often. And then I'll finally switch out my die cut plates. It works. So, anywho, after I did that with sentiments, I set them aside. I adhered my pumpkins to the card bases. And then I pulled out the stitched pumpkins die set. This came out either last year or the year before. It's still available. It's an older die set. But I pulled that out and I used, just because I wanted the little tendril swirly vine bits and the leaves. And then I die cut a different specialty gold cardstock because it's a pack from Spellbinders and it's got all these different, it's the gold assorted pack and there's glitter and matte and brushed and mirror and then pearl metallic. And that's what I used for the tendrils and the leaves. And so I die cut those and then adhered those onto my pumpkins. And then we're going to add more splatter because welcome to the chaos. This is what we do. I'm using the Spellbinders watercolor mixing set. I've used this in other videos. I think just the gold though. I have never used the black. And I don't think I've used the shimmer one yet. But I've used the gold. So I was originally only going to use the gold. So I added a bit of water to it. Put these card bases back in my splat box. And then work this up really, really good with my fan brush. And then I'm going to add gold splatter. And then, I decided to also try out the black. I've never used it before. I like it. It has a slightly shiny finish to it. Just, it's not glossy like the black in this little watercolor mixing set. It's not glossy, but it does have the slightest shine to it. And it showed up on the black card base because that's why I wasn't going to use the black splatter originally, because I was like, you're not really going to see much of it. But yeah, I'm kind of impressed. I was like, ooh, this is kind of fun. So and for me, again, you guys, I will split hairs over splatter and all the different mediums I have. So this one is slightly different than the other ones I use. So it's a win. And besides, I've used, like I said, I've used the gold, and then there's a really pretty like shimmery one in there too that I just haven't used yet because I have 5 million types of splatter because I'm crazy. Anyway, splattered both of those onto these card bases and let them dry. And then on the insides of the cards, I'm using the Halloween Greetings set again. I love the pretty pink. I just call them the pretty pink posh fonts. I have no idea what fonts they actually are, but I can, as soon as I see them, I always know it's like, that's a pretty pink posh set. And love them. So on the insides of my card bases, I am white heat embossing the sentiments. Now, a lot of times, most of the time, instead of like keeping with the dark cardstock base, I'll still have that as my base, but I will just cut a piece of like white or light cardstock, slightly smaller. These are A2 size cards, by the way, 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. So I would usually do that and then adhere that to the inside, stamp a sentiment, add whatever, etc. But the lighter cardstock makes it easier to write something. But every once in a while, it's kind of nice to keep it dark. And then I'll just use a gel pen to write something when the time comes. So I use my anti-static powder tool, stamped the sentiments with clear embossing ink, coated them with detail white embossing powder, tapped off the excess, melted that with my heat tool. Once these are cooled off, which just takes a few seconds, I take my microfiber cloth and just buff away all of that excess anti-static powder because that doesn't look very pretty. So I buff that away. And then I had die cut a few more of those little tendrils and leaves from that, what was it called? Pearl metallic. Yeah, the gold pearl metallic cardstock. And then I'm just going to adhere those as well, just to finish off the insides of these cards. So once I've got those adhered into place, I originally was going to leave it like this, but then I was like, I had the little spider wafer dies that come with the spider web cover plate. And so I die cut some of, I've got the Simon Says Stamp black glossy cardstock. And yeah, again, they won't look, or I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. Adhere the sentiments. So same thing. Just trace the back with the glue, going to press it down. That will press down a little bit of the fringe that, I put so much time and effort into to curl up, but I'm okay with that. So I adhered my sentiments like so. And then for the dot, the tittle to the eye, that I adhere separately. I've talked about this a lot. Literally, back in the day, like the old version of me many, many years ago, would have stacked those, just like I stacked the sentiments, like fiddling with those teeny tiny little die cuts. I would have stacked them all separately until, and I still don't remember what maker I saw doing it just like this and stacking it directly onto their project, like that. Little dot of glue, pick up the little tiny, tiny die cut, stick it in place, and then repeat and stack them. It's so much easier. I shake my head at the old version of me that wasted so much time and the frustration of stacking those die cuts. Anyway, spiders with the black glossy, which right now on camera doesn't look like much, but because they've got that shiny finish to them, they stand out quite nicely on the black cardstock base. So I die cut them. I didn't add googly eyes. Trust me, I thought about it, but I was like, it doesn't go with these cards. Like the googly eyes just felt out of place for me, but you could. They would look cute. It would be really cute, but I just left them as is. So I just adhered them into place. And then my final little bit of embellishment is these matte gold confetti from Pretty Pink Posh, which I've used these a lot. I love. They're just kind of a unique shade, and being matte, because like I've got a bunch of gold confetti, which would look really pretty on this too. But when I was digging through my stash, I came across these again and I was like, oh, perfection, meant to be. So I put a few of these onto the card, picked them up with my embellishment wand, adhered them with the liquid glue, let the glue dry, and these cards are complete. So we've got texture and all the different like elements from the different types of cardstock, which is really fun. Splatter, of course, which is just the best. And like I said, these pumpkins would make the cutest garland. Either white and gold Pottery Barn style, or like do them in oranges and greens, and you know, so much fun. So much fun. So, anywho, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. I appreciate you guys thumbs upping and commenting, letting them robot overlords know you like what you see. Subscribe if you haven't. I'd love to have you. And I will see you all very soon in the next video. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much to my amazing Patreon supporters. For anyone that might be interested in joining my Patreon community and supporting me, the link to my Patreon is in the description box below the video. For everyone else, as always, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my videos, for thumbs upping, commenting, subscribe if you haven't. I'd love to have you. And here's a couple other videos for you to check out in case you missed them. Bye!